We remember the Beatles for their songs, the hooks, the harmonies, the faces on magazine covers. But if you listen closely, you'll hear something else just as important, the studio itself becoming part of the music. From mid-60s pop records to full-on sonic experiments, the Beatles didn't just write songs. They reinvented how songs could be made. What follows is a look at how their studio work reshaped popular music and how those innovations still echo in recordings today. The partnership between the band and producer George Martin was the foundation for many of those experiments. Martin's classical training and openness to unconventional ideas turned half-formed sketches into sonic adventures. He was willing to score string quartets for a rock band, to try strange microphone placements, and to give the group permission to treat the mixing desk and tape machines as instruments in their own right. One of the most radical shifts was how they used tape. Instead of seeing tape as just a medium for capturing takes, they manipulated it, cutting and splicing, slowing it down or speeding it up, running it backwards, and looping segments to create new textures. That approach shows up everywhere, from the backward vocals on "O Rain" to the tape loop collage of "Tomorrow Never Knows." On "Strawberry Fields Forever," they famously blended two different takes with different tempos and feels by adjusting tape speed, creating a single, seamless performance that could not have existed live. Technical inventions and studio tricks also became part of their vocabulary. Engineers at EMI developed automatic double tracking, ADT, so Lennon's voice could be doubled without singing twice. Close miking techniques and careful placement brought Paul's bass forward and made Ringo's drums punchier than most records of the day. The band and engineers treated effects, tape delay, varispeed, plate reverb, and EQ not as garnish but as essential colors. Vocals through a Leslie speaker sped up guitar parts, and tape echo were used deliberately to shape mood and meaning. The Beatles expanded the instrumental palette of pop music. George Harrison's interest in the sitar and Indian music introduced non-Western sonorities to a mainstream audience on songs like "Norwegian Wood." The group also embraced orchestras and chamber ensembles in unexpected places. Think of the Stark String Octet on "Eleanor Rigby" or the massive orchestral build in "A Day in the Life." They brought in mellotrons, harpsichords, and found sounds, treating them all as legitimate voices in a pop arrangement. All of this transformed the album from a collection of singles into a crafted artistic statement. With records like Rubber Soul, Revolver, and especially Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the Beatles pushed the idea that sequencing, sonic cohesion, and studio experimentation could make an album a single experience. They favored the mono mixes early on but also set new expectations for how attentive production could alter a listener's relationship with a record. Legacy. The consequences were huge and immediate. Producers and artists began to see the studio itself as a creative tool, a place to compose, collate, and invent sounds that could never be reproduced on stage. From psychedelic rock and progressive music to modern pop production, the Beatles' studio-first mindset opened the door for generations of musicians to think bigger about texture, arrangement, and studio craft. The Beatles changed music not just by writing unforgettable songs but by changing how music was made. They turned the studio into an instrument, and in doing so they expanded what popular music could be: sonically adventurous, compositionally bold, and endlessly inventive. Even now, their studio legacy is felt every time a producer reaches for a tape delay, a strange meter, or an unexpected instrument to bring a vision to life.